Yo guys, what is going on? JPS back for another video, and in this video I'm going to be answering the question of if I will ever move to the UK. In this video I'm going to be going through some pros and cons that I think I would experience if I did move to the UK, and at the end of the video I'm going to give you guys my final opinion of if there's a chance that I'll ever move to the United Kingdom. There's been a lot of discourse about this recently after my trip, about exchange programs and gap years and things like that, so I want to clear all that up and also give you guys my perspective on how I really feel about the UK after my trip and after this year plus of studying the UK through these reaction videos. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get it. I'm gonna be starting with the pros of the UK and some things that would lead me to gravitate towards the UK and wanting to move there. And then after we finish up with these pros, we're gonna get into the cons. I know there's gonna be a lot of comments about every con that I say, but it is what it is. Getting right into the pros, the first pro of living in the UK is the rich history that the United Kingdom has and all of the places that you can visit within Britain. There's so many places to explore, so many sights to see. It's just full of history, more so than the United States, I would say, for sure. Another pro, which may be surprising for some of you, will be the weather. Now, the weather when I was over there was really nice compared to what I'm used to, especially in the summertime. Not nearly as humid, and obviously I experienced a variety of climates going to all these different places. But yeah, the weather was really nice. I actually enjoyed it a lot. Will that change maybe if it had rained a bit more? I don't know. To get a full grasp on that, I'd probably have to visit during fall, winter, spring. Another thing that I really liked about the UK were the villages. And I'm not gonna say quaint, but I really like the villages. They provide a sense of community. Another really big pro about living in the UK is the ease of accessing Europe and day trips and weekend getaways. You don't even need a car. There's literally a train that takes you across the channel, across the English Channel, I believe. If you wanted to go to France, I don't know why you'd want to go to France, but I'm just kidding. That was bad. The ease of access to Europe, there's so much to do in Europe. Personally, I really want to visit Europe and go to a bunch of different places throughout. That would make that really easy, being located in the UK with your home base somewhere. Another pro is going to be the food and drink. The food really surprised me. I thought it was going to be a lot more bland than it was, and the drink obviously is an extreme pro. You know, the pubs, we don't have pubs like that at all. The drinking culture here is way different. You can drink when you're 18. That's a huge pro right there. And I just feel like the drinking, it's a lot more laid back. You can have a lot more fun with it. I feel like in the United States, it's much more stigmatized. The nightclubs as well. That's another pro. Another pro would be train travel. Train travel in public transport. Now I know for some residents, you guys would consider that a con because you're tired of the delays and worker shortages and all types of things like that. And some of you may think that public transport in the United Kingdom is not very consistent, but I still think it's a pro because when I'm coming from in the United States is almost no public transport infrastructure, especially throughout rural areas. So for me, it's a really big step up from that. And I was really impressed with the rail networks across the United Kingdom. Now, another enormous pro, is healthcare, the NHS. Free healthcare. For some odd reason, this is a debatable topic in the United States. Now, obviously, we have a very complex situation when it comes to healthcare in the United States. It's not as black and white as a lot of people make it out to be. Even that aside, without talking about the means in which we could achieve free healthcare, there are still people who are against the idea of free healthcare in the United States. That is something that I've always loved the UK for, would be the NHS and free healthcare. I think that's a tenet that most countries should have, but unfortunately we don't. Now, another couple things would be literature, sports, music, and film. The UK is rich with all of that. You have so much football, not soccer, so many football leagues, so much music comes out of the UK. It's crazy. Like all these popular songs that I'd heard on the radio and stuff, I never had realized that they were by English artists or Scottish artists. England has just a ridiculous amount of bands and artists who have so many streams. And then of course we got film, which I've gotten very acquainted with through Patreon. I watch shows and movies there. Watched quite a few shows like Peep Show, Faulty Towers, IT Crowd, In-Betweeners. I don't know, the list goes on and on. I'm probably forgetting some. And also movies as well, like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. Those are two of my favorites. So if you guys want to watch those with me, you can join the Patreon. First link in the description. Those are all the pros for this part of the video. So now let's get into the cons. And I want to make a quick disclaimer before we get into any of these cons. Obviously, this is coming from an uneducated perspective because I visited the UK for a week. I've been watching reaction videos, but obviously I haven't been there for an extended period of time. Please take everything I say with a hint of salt. Listen to everything I have to say before you comment. The first con, oh God, I'm gonna start a war with this one. So the first con is politics. And obviously that's very ironic coming from me, an American with politics. But I found that politics in the United Kingdom are really divisive. Now, I'm not gonna say the B word, but if I were to ask you guys how you feel about Brexit, this comment section would turn into a war zone. So please, please don't do that. Don't do that, please. I shouldn't have said it. I said the B word. I'm a bad guy. This video is gonna get demonetized. I'm a bad. No, but seriously, the politics in the United Kingdom were very divisive. I'm not gonna compare Democrats and Republicans to Brexiters and non-Brexiters, but it's bad. Another thing which stood out to me the most would be diversity. I come from a very diverse area. I have a diverse group of friends, and I've always held diversity as something that's super important to be surrounded by. You get a wide variety of perspectives when you're surrounded by and interacting with people from different backgrounds and ethnicities. In the United Kingdom, I'm not gonna say it's not diverse, okay, because that'd be false. London was very diverse, but I felt like when I wasn't in the cities, it wasn't that diverse at all. And I actually looked up some stats before I put this point in here because I didn't want to just say that, but the UK is, I think it's like 87% white, and the United States is 57% white. So that may give you an idea. And I think the United States is also trending towards a majority-minority ethnic population. So if that gives you any perspective on our diversity, like I said, I mean, if you go to the countryside in the United States, it's not gonna be very diverse either, but I did notice that even in the cities, when you compare a city in the United States to a city in the United Kingdom, there is a big difference in the amount of diversity. Now, I'm not saying it's not diverse. However, I will say it was certainly a step down in diversity from what I'm used to. So take that with a grain of salt. Remember, this is just my opinion and perspective. It can be changed at any moment. Everything in my head is very malleable, and I'm willing to be open to new ideas with everything I say. So please don't take this as I'm like trying to insult you, whatever I say on this list. The next thing, which was actually a pro on our list, would be food. I put that as a pro, but it's also a con because I still think that even though the food impressed me, exceeded my expectations, I still think that I would get bored of the food over time. I'm not saying that there aren't tons of different types of restaurants in the United Kingdom, but I just feel like the cuisines in the United States, a lot of you guys are gonna be laughing because you're like, oh, he likes American food, he's fat. It's not like that. It's just where I'm from personally, there's a lot of different foods and cuisines that I've tried, and I felt like the food in the United Kingdom was not as variable. I'm not saying the food was bad by any means. I still think it was good. I just think it would be a step down from what I'm used to if I did move to the United Kingdom. All right, guys, so the final con on this list is gonna be smoking. I've mentioned this in a couple vlogs, and we also mentioned it in our recap video. Will shared the same sentiments as me. There is a lot of smoking in the United Kingdom, and I know a lot of you guys were disagreeing with me and bringing up stats about how, oh, the US has more smoking and this and that, but the main point I was making when I was talking about the smoking was the age of the smokers. You have 18, even younger than that. You just have teenagers smoking cigarettes. It's something that you rarely see here. I haven't seen it in a very long time. I haven't seen a teenager smoking a cigarette in the past year. So maybe it's just where I'm located, but it's not something I want to really be around. That would definitely be a con. There's also a lot of vaping and things like that. So now that we've wrapped up all the cons and the pros, hopefully you're still watching this and you haven't clicked off because you hate me. We're gonna answer the question of, would I ever live in the UK? Would I move to the UK? And the answer to that question is yes. I would definitely consider moving to the United Kingdom at some point. I don't think it would be within the next few years just because I make very impulsive decisions. I'm also in university, as you guys say, so that wouldn't be really possible, but I would definitely be open to the idea of moving to the United Kingdom at some point in the future. The trip left that good of an impression on me to the point where I'd be open to moving there. And I think that's a good thing. That's a win in your guys' book. Despite the cons, you know, there's cons of, if I were to make a list of cons of living in the United States, it'd be a hell of a lot longer. But I think there's a lot of pros of living in the United Kingdom, and I think it'd be a cool experience. I will definitely visit before I move there. Also, guys, on another note, I want to thank you all. We just hit 60,000 subscribers. It's crazy because we just hit 50K like not that long ago, like 2 weeks ago. Things are moving really fast, and I really appreciate your support. And to all the newcomers we have on the channel, welcome aboard. Thanks so much for joining. I hope you guys are enjoying the content so far. If you want more content, first link in the description. I have a Patreon where I react to shows and movies, British shows and movies. So if you're interested in that, it's up to you. But regardless, I really appreciate everyone who has supported the channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It means a lot. So thanks so much, everyone. But with that being said, guys, I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. Peace.